Okay, my people, I'm going to go ahead and start. I wanted to talk to you guys about the power of your story. So, I want to actually start off. Actually, before I get into the stories, I want to go ahead and talk to you guys about a few things coming up. So, let's go over that real quick. We know that 10 rounds is in full effect, it is available to coaches. It's not available on Beachbody On Demand just yet, not for probably not until the fall. If you are starting 10 rounds, I am starting 10 rounds in a week on May 4th. And you guys know that our next challenge starts May 4th. I would right about now be trying to get your people signed up, get them on the list, on your list, and follow up with as many people as you can that you've been talking to. And as far as hitting SC, this is also going to help you hit SC. Another thing I wanted to mention is a few things that we went over during Super Saturday. And Super Saturday, Salted Caramel Shakeology, they made this announcement, Salted Caramel Shakeology is coming out. It's coming out June 23rd. We have Berry Energize coming out May 27th. And these are things that you can go ahead and talk to your customers about and get them ready for. And mind you, Salted Caramel is only a limited edition. I believe they're only coming out with it as a seasonal kind of thing. Energized Berry is coming out June 27th, and that is available to the US and UK. Bod Groups is coming out on the 26th. If you guys haven't seen, we can go ahead and for as many people, for as many PS coaches that you have, if everybody or as many PS coaches sign up for bod groups, they're giving out some prizes. And I believe the grand prize is if you have enough PS coaches or the most PS coaches or personally sponsored coaches who sign up with bod groups, the winner gets to get a private plane to a private event in the future, or not a private event, but any event in the future that you're going to, like Summit or one of the Success Club trips or any other trips that we're having, which is totally awesome. Another thing is we are doing the pre-launch of France May 27th. I think that's what I have there. May 27th. Guys, we are able to sign up people in France. C'est la vie. I don't know what that means, but I think it means good life or something. But anyway, we also have Muscle Burns Fat, hashtag MBF and MBFA coming out in the summer. So Megan Davies is coming out with her programs in the summer, which is totally awesome. And I have a special treat for you guys with Megan Davies coming pretty soon. I'm going to go ahead and announce that later. I've been talking with her. Hint, hint. And another thing I want to mention to you guys is really something I'm noticing every day. Really try to stick to your business hours and your planner. There's a reason why there's a reason why we go over our planners in the beginning of each month, is so we can go ahead and refocus on what our priorities are and what we need to work on every single day. Make sure you are having your business hours and also really respecting the time that you have on your planner and going with it as much as you can, because we do want to also, spend time with our families and get to our other priorities too. Another thing, guys, you are your own CEO. You make the decisions for your own business. I'm not your boss. I'm not your supervisor. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here sharing with you what I know would probably make you successful, or recommend to you what will make you successful. And success leaves clues. So I am trying to mirror what other successful coaches are doing. And from what I see, they show up on the team calls. And if they're not able to, they make it a priority. I'm just trying to enter. Awesome. Jess, I see you. Sorry, I'm trying to let Jess on here. Give me a minute.
Hello.
Hello, darling. Hi.
Hey.
Are you
Oh my god,
back
I did my
home?
eyebrows. I feel like it's so different. Oh my gosh. Anyway.
I totally need mine. Oh my gosh. I wish I could do that.
Yeah. No, I did it last night. I was like, I'm going back to work. It needs to look good.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I wish I could do my eyebrows. I really need to do them.
Yeah.
But thank you for hopping on.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
like,
I noticed that you changed it. I thought it was gonna stay at 2, and I was like, oh shoot. Well, 2 my time.
I know
Um,
it's just so there's been so much going on with the WTF is coaching.
mhm.
So I've literally, and I'm telling everybody, I'm recording by the way. Um,
Oh.
I've literally just like been going crazy with WTF is coaching because not only am I trying to like pump myself up because I get super nervous, but I've been practicing being on camera and I've been looking at trainings and making sure that I'm getting all the info together.
Yeah.
Like I had to change it because I've been on social media so much and on video so much that I'm like about to die.
Like I need a break.
I know I've been really adulting and extroverting too much.
Yeah.
But I was just going over just some things before we get into the power of your story. So I went over like when 10 rounds is coming out. They mentioned a lot of it. Everything that I practically mentioned was basically on the Super Saturday call that we had on the 18th.
Yeah.
Um, and I'll be honest with you, I was late to that call and I still have not been able to catch all the other info that was presented when I got
Yeah. You know
before I
what?
got
I
on.
remember you mentioned to look at the sim video, but I still haven't looked. So,
Yeah, it's okay. It's like an hour or something long, so I'm
oh, I'll just
gonna
listen
check
to
it
it when
later.
I'm like working. Okay.
Yeah, it's really good to listen into because we only have them every quarter,
Yeah.
and you get to like see what's coming out and all the updates and like some really cool success stories and there's a training and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Carl's always on. So need to check that out and put some time for it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably do it tomorrow. But I was actually going over before we get into the story. Sorry, I have my notes. I kind of lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
Of
Sorry. I'm gonna mute myself so you can go ahead and do that.
okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah.
I was kind of going over really like looking at the mindset of a CEO. Just remember, like, I'm not your boss. I'm not your supervisor. I am a coach just like you guys. The only thing that I do more of is I just do more of what's going on in the business activity tracker. That's all I'm doing. I'm probably talking to a lot more people. I'm probably inviting to a lot more. Um, and that's also because I've been doing this a really long time. So we kind of have to honor where we are in our journey. So there was a time in my journey where I was, and this is also part of my story. I'm getting into my story a little bit to talk about the power of your story. There was a time where I was just talking to about 3 people a day. And that happened for like my first few months until I got more comfortable talking to more people. And the trick is to this whole thing, this is a people helping people business. So you have to practice talking to a lot more people. So I went from 3 people to 5 people a day. And eventually I went from like 5 people and I doubled it. I started compounding. So I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to help all these people, I need to talk to more people. I will tell you, I have talked to thousands of people, maybe like 5,000 people, and maybe I've helped 200. Just the way it is. I've maybe signed up 200 coaches. Maybe I've had, I don't know how many customers, about 300 to 500 customers, and you're talking out of thousands. So that's why I'm really trying to help you guys like get more comfortable with being uncomfortable in front of your audience on IGTV. IGTV is a great way to start if you want to start, talking live to your audience because you can actually edit those. Another way to practice is going on our team pages And there are times where I was like, okay, I'm going to go on for 3 minutes and I'm going to talk about why I started coaching. And I would make videos in Dreamcore, or I was making videos in our, at the time we were having trainings where every single day I was like, okay, this is your day one. This is the training for 15, 20 minutes. And then they would tell us, okay, go on live in this feed and do this and this and this. And it's kind of changed a little bit, as you can see. But as I progressed, I was like, all right, I'm going to talk to, I have school and work today. As I get off at work, of work at 5. So I have to be in school by 7. I can probably talk to 5 people in between. And those were phone calls, guys. I used to call people. It wasn't like messages like we have now. But there's so many more ways that you can connect with your people. Email, you can now do the FaceTime and Zoom calls. And we didn't have all this back then. So like you have so many more resources. And before all this, it was door to door. Yeah. The door to door stuff way back in like Christina Delgado time and 7, 8, 9 years ago. Like we're very blessed to have this. Okay. We don't have to do that anymore. So I want you guys to think like more people. The more people you talk to, the more you're going to practice, the more you're going to be able to find the ways of what to say and what not to say, and find how, find a more comfortability in talking and communicating with your kind of audience. So for me, I was showing you guys the other day, the book, how to influence friends, how to impact, something like that. How to influence friends and make, how to influence people and make friends, something like that, by Dale Carnegie. I always get the title mixed up. I read it twice in like a week because I was just so into trying to find a way to talk to my people. Because I was like, Colleen, I don't know what to do. Like I send them the Hey Girl message, and I haven't been able to invite any more people. I've signed up 9 people, but I haven't been able to do anything further than that. She's like, you need to learn how to talk to your people and how to talk to your audience. And the best way to do that is asking questions. The best coaches ask the best questions. That's what makes an awesome coach. You need information, we ask about it. So whenever I have conversations with you guys, or with anybody, I've also had other people from other teams saying like, okay, well, can you tell me is this okay to say? Or how do I find out information about this? And I'm like, ask. The main thing is to just ask. Okay. So if you have something and you're trying to analyze your customers, your customers' needs, and you really don't know something and you're afraid to ask, trust me, ask. And they will thank you for it. And another thing is really honor your time with your planner and your business hours. I can't even explain to you how important that is because I will let you guys know, especially if you have a spouse, especially if you have kids and a spouse, or especially if you're like a single mom or whatever. It is so important to communicate. I have to tell Devin all the time, I'm like, because I know I have to be off my social media at 6 because that's me time and that's Devin time. And he's my priority at that time. If there is something in between my 6 to 9, because I'm usually in bed by 9, 10 o'clock. If there is something in between that, communicate it to your partner. Don't just go on your phone and start, I don't want to tell you what to do, but give that courtesy to them because they know that it's their time too. And I let him know, I'm like, I need to get on this call. It's just going to be about 10 minutes. And usually he's like, okay, yeah, cool, fine. And he gets it. Devin gets that. I have to be on this call. He knows it's a very important call. And people who are ready to sign up, I will usually take them right then and there. And because they're ready. if I just get on my phone, he just assumes that I'm scrolling Facebook. And then we get into a massive fight. So communication is key. Honor your business hours. Remember, I am not your boss. I'm just here to help you. And I know we get overwhelmed with all these trainings and all these information and team calls and this and that, but you got to find a system that works for you. We all know that Thursday nights we have team calls. We all know that coffee chats are at 2:00 on Tuesdays with Dream Core. We know that our challenge group is now Empowered Studio. We know that the team page is now Empowered. And we know to check these at least once or twice a day. Okay. And we know the National Wake Up Call is at 11. I've already memorized these because every single week for the past 5 years, I have attended them. So this is stuff that as a CEO, you're gonna want to know. Do you have to attend them? No, absolutely not. But I will let you know this, if you wanna be a successful coach, guess what? All of the elite, all of these successful coaches follow that BAT and they know to get on that National Wake Up Call. They know to make time for the team calls. And they know it like the back of their hand. It's second nature already. Okay. As a CEO, these are things that we have to learn. And don't just look at coaches, look at other businesses and how they're run. Whenever I hear Devin talking about real estate, and I hear him when he's doing his business, and I look at businesses like real estate, like entrepreneurs who run their real estate business successfully, like Ryan Serhant and Tony Robbins, and you look at Mel Robbins, you look at Gabby Bernstein, Rachel Hollis, all these other people who are not coaches, they are all business owners. They have some kind of system or ritual in place, okay? The beauty about Beachbody coaching is that we've already helped you kind of map it out. All these other businesses, this brick and mortar and all these businesses that don't have some kind of free mentor, they have to work from the ground up. So I heard Devin today talking to 5 people on the phone. This is part of his ritual. And then he has some kind of CRM and he tracks his people. And guys, same kind of thing. And he was telling his people, his crew today, he has a team that he's working with. This is what I'm working on. I worked out today. I did my personal development. I do this with my girl, yada, yada, yada. And then I get to work at 9:00. He was explaining this real estate system. This is his real estate, not coaching, to his team. Okay. So his team is taking that system and incorporating the same thing. It's the same thing in coaching, guys. We have, we have our connections. We reach out to our people. We schedule our calls. We have our team calls. We have the times when we do our morning rituals and work on our minds and our bodies. Same exact thing. It's all we're doing. It's just in a different industry. Okay. I know I talked for like a half hour. So, but I want to just get that across because I want you to think like this is not the only business that runs in a system. All successful businesses have some kind of system, and that's something that you have to figure out because everybody's different. Everybody has a different life. We have to figure it out on our own. If you have to get up an extra half hour earlier than you usually do, or an extra hour before you usually do, so be it. That's what you're going to have to do if you really, really do want to put in that extra time, that extra energy into coaching. So this brings me into my story. Okay. A lot of you guys don't know my story. So I'm just going to go over it real quick. For those of you who don't know my story, I signed up basically after I had gotten out of the hospital. And I was Baker acted because I almost attempted suicide. I was Baker acted for 3 days. I was a very, very depressed person. And I was also diagnosed with PMDD during my stay at the hospital. So they figured out why I was depressed all the time, why I was having these mood swings, and why I was having these episodes, and couldn't really explain why I was the way I was. And it was really difficult for me to find myself doing daily activities like going to work. I was trying to call out to work all the freaking time because it was that depressing. I was also at a place I was also at a place where I really hated my job. Like, people are like, oh, you're going to be fine. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be fine. You don't understand. Like, I hate my job. And there's people out there who love their job. It's all good. But I wanted more of the freedom, and I didn't get to really choose who I worked with. And at the same time, like, I had like, I don't want to say I had, I'm going to say it. I had toxic friends. I had a lot of toxic friends. I was probably going out 3 or 4 times a week, even though I was working the next morning and going to school full time. I was going out and partying, ladies' night, everything. And I was drinking. I was doing something to fill the void because I wasn't completely happy. Yes, like dancing it off and everything like that, but I wasn't completely happy, and I had really no other direction. I thought that I was like, okay, you go to school, you go to work, you pay bills, this is all it is, and then you go party, you wait for the weekend. I had no idea what a self-love journey was. Okay, and I was going to the gym, by the way, 2 to 3 hours a day for about 4 or 5 times a week. Didn't get any results. I was fluctuating between like 3 and 4 pounds. I would lose pounds and I would gain it. My nutrition was crap. I used to have chocolates next to my bedside table. So in the morning I would wake up and I would eat a chocolate. That's how bad my nutrition was. I knew crap about nutrition. I was like 28 years old, guys. It was terrible. And of course I was in the worst relationship that I've ever had at the time around my diagnosis of PMDD. So I had just found out that my boyfriend at the time was cheating on me with 5 other women. And long story short with the drama, but it got very emotional and verbally abusive, that it got almost to the point of physical abuse. So I knew, like, I punched him in the face. So I knew that for something to really enrage me like that, it was a very toxic environment. I had toxic environments left and right. It was my work, it was my relationship, my friendships, my nights, my days. It was a complete mess. So eventually, on that day in November 2014, sometime around that time, I just didn't feel worthy of it all. And I downed some pills with some alcohol, and there was a knife next to my bed. And next thing I know, I wake up in the hospital. So that's how it went down. We're going to fast forward. I'm not going to go through the emotions or else I'm going to cry. I knew when I left that I had to change my life because I didn't want to die. And I knew if I kept going down this road that I would. But I just didn't know how. And I didn't know who to look to or turn to because nobody knew what PMDD was. Nobody really knew how to help me with my depression because I eventually did take pills, depression pills, but they really didn't help. It made me feel high. So I didn't want to take that. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to break up with my boyfriend. So I did. I broke up with my boyfriend at the time. And that, that's the first thing that you need to do when you're unhappy. And then after that, what do? Revenge body. So you want to start to, feel good about yourself and start doing things to feel good about yourself, and start going to the gym more and doing yoga. And those things were great. They fulfilled, the physical aspect of it, the physical part, but I didn't really get a transformation because I was eating like crap and I didn't know how to do the nutrition part. So I was looking through Facebook, scrolling through my feed, and pops out this beautiful blonde and her name was Colleen, and she had an ad out for coaches. So at first I thought it was a personal training kind of coach thing. And I was like, all right, well, you know, I need to lose 10 pounds anyway. I need to learn how to use weights. I need to learn how to use the gym. I need some kind of structure. So, and this was in December, 2014. So she had called me, we met, we talked about coaching, what it was, what it wasn't. We had that consultation, and what almost stopped me, and I ignored her for 2 weeks because she kept following up with me, where she explained why it wasn't a pyramid scheme. Okay, because that, to me, I was like, oh, I've been through an MLM before, and she told me what a pyramid scheme was, but then in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm still skeptical. So this thing is not a pyramid scheme. It's some kind of MLM or whatever she's talking about. This is all in my head, by the way. And I'm like, but I don't want to do it because it sounds like a scheme. It's still, you know, I'm just going to brush it off. And then she kept following up with me. Right. And what did I do? I went onto her Facebook again. I'm like, okay, let me check out this girl. Scroll. Every single day she has some kind of post, and then she gets into her story about how she became a coach. I was like, okay, she has a pretty picture. She's smiling all the time. She just moved to Tahoe. She dropped her bags and left everyone she knew behind on her own. She didn't even meet her husband yet at the time. And she, I think she got fired from her job. She got fired from her job, no money, and went all the way across the country and lived on her own by herself. And she got into coaching. I was like, holy crap. And she came from a corporate world like I did. So I'm like, oh, wow. So we have that in common. She was a manager at Verizon. I'm like, I'm a sales coordinator manager too. So I'm like, okay, we have that. But I'm like, how did she do it? So I just kept looking more into her story. And I'm like, oh my God. And she just kept smiling all the time. She's smiling all the time. And she's talking about all these things in her story, in her life, that just caught me. And I'm like, that was the time when I saw her smiling face. I was like, I want that smile on my face. I want that energy. I want to be that independent woman. I want to be the one who grows confident and powerful in my life. And she had it. So I'm like, whatever I need to do, I'll do it. I don't care if it's scheme anymore, just do it. So when she called me, she's like, I'm just following up with you. And I could hear her like pacing on the other side. Colleen, I love you. If you ever see this training, I could hear her pacing on the other side of the phone. And at this time, she was only a 1-star, which is what I am now. Go figure. And I was like, I'll do it. I need to lose that weight anyway. I need to lose 10 pounds, so let's do it. So I had started, I wasn't even coaching yet. I was actually just so excited to start and become who I wanted to become. And, you know, after my first 3 weeks, which was the 21-day fix, that's the program I got started in. And before I knew it, I lost 10 pounds in my 21 days. I'm like, holy shit. And I was so excited about that. And all she wanted me to do, she's like, Filma, this is what you're going to do. You're going to tell your story every single day about how you feel and dive into the program with your nutrition and your fitness. And I just want you to go on social media and be excited and tell us how you're incorporating it in your life. That's it. That's all she told me. No structure, no nothing. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, and we're going to figure it out all on our own together. I'm not going to leave you. Don't worry. I'm like, okay. So I basically said, oh, this is my day one. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm a coach now and I'm doing this program. And that was it. That was my day one post, guys. And then after that, Like I got maybe like 5 likes. And this is on Facebook, by the way. Instagram was non-existent. And then in my second, my third, fourth, fifth day, I would get like a few likes, a little bit more. And then I posted my progress on day 5. Day 5, I was like, I lost 6 pounds. Never in my life did I ever think I was gonna lose 6 pounds in 5 days just by working out for 30 minutes a day, dialing in my nutrition. I completely changed my nutrition. I was all about like salads and chicken and eggs, okay, and Shakeology. And that was it. That's all I was eating. That's what changed everything for me. After that, my business skyrocketed and people were asking what I was doing. I must have had like, I don't know, like 60 likes on there plus comments, and people were messaging me and they were asking me how to sign up. And honestly, all I was doing was telling my story every single day. And I got excited about it. That's the key, is getting excited about your story. So that's why we always start off with our fitness story. So there's always going to be your story on how you became a coach, your story with Shakeology, how Shakeology changed your life. There's going to be a story about your fitness program, how your fitness program changed your life, and your story about your passions and what makes you you. So those are the kinds of stories that we need to start getting comfortable talking about. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable for a little bit, but we need to practice telling those stories, only because you have to remember, when you are posting your journey and sharing your story online, it takes about the average person 17 to 18 times to see the story that they are meant to see. It takes them about 17 to 18 times to actually see it before they're like, oh, I get it. I get it. So just remember that. That's why it's so important to show up not just every single day, but talk about the story. And I'm going to give you guys the structure that I use too. And just remember the message that we always talk about when we talk about your story is your message. Your story is your message because your message connects it to your audience, your audience and the people that are meant to hear that message. So I want you to really think of your story and your business very holistically. Okay. And you have to have faith in yourself when you're talking about your story, and when you have to have faith in yourself when you're posting it. A lot of us get like that question, what do I post? What do I talk about? I just want you to talk about how you're feeling today. If you ever get lost about what to talk about that day, talk about how you're feeling. Talk about how your day is going. And I will tell you, the more problems that you have, what is it? More money, more problems. You ever heard that song? The more problems that you have, that means the more solutions you have to provide. Okay. But I'm not talking about like have like 99 different things going on. We only need like 4 or 5 that you can spread your energy with. Okay. I drank my Energize, so I'm going. Okay. No problem. No problem, Jess.
Yeah.
See you later, darling. Love all your shoes.
Thanks. Bye.
So I want you guys to remember that, I lost my train of thought. The words are coming back. I want you to remember that when you are connecting your story and posting every single day, have a little more faith. Have faith that you are going to be heard. There's a reason why your followers follow you. They will go to your page and listen to what you have to say if they are meant to see it. Okay, but you have to give yourself that fighting chance. You have to take those chances and post it. The thing is, we don't know what's going to work. We don't know if you're telling your story the way it's supposed to be told unless we get feedback. And in order to get feedback, We need you to tell your story. Okay. So this is how I was able to help my people and how to make your story powerful. You have to remember you are the light for your audience. So when you don't speak, okay, when you don't speak, or when the times that you don't show up, the times that you don't post, the times that you don't message back and things like that, okay, they miss out on what you have to say, and they will find another person with that same kind of light and talk to them. So this is the thing, and I'll show you an example. There is this awesome girl that I follow. Her name is Karina L. I follow her on Instagram. She is amazing. She has such a vibrant energy that I love to feed off of, and I will watch her. But she hasn't been on for a while. So I stopped following her, and I was like, okay, well, I don't know where she is. So let me tell you something. If you ghost your people, they will ghost you. Okay. You just have to believe that, and I know a lot of us kind of don't post sometimes because we have a fear of, we have a fear that we don't know what to post, and we kind of look for that validation from other people. Just post it. And a lot of coaches will tell you that just post it. We have to see if it works. Okay. So sorry, I had my notes here. So I will tell you, there's different stories or different seasons in my coaching career where I did have to evolve my story because my personal life evolved. So when your life evolves, so does your story. So in the beginning, I was working full time. I was going to school full time, and I was working my coaching early in the mornings before I left work, on my break time at lunch, and also in between classes and in between work and class. That left me with about 2 or 3 hours per day to work on my coaching. I was working coaching every freaking minute I got to. Okay. That's just, I put so much effort into it, as much as I could. And those were my power pockets that I could fill. So when I wasn't able to do that, say, for example, when I had quit my job, my corporate job, and got 2 more jobs, okay, and I was taking care of a child because I was a nanny at the same time, and I was traveling back and forth from Miami to Sunrise. That was like a 45-minute to an hour to hour and a half drive, depending on traffic. My story changed, obviously, and the times that I could work coaching were a lot shorter because now I had to take care of a child, and that was my job. So the times when I was taking care of the child and the child was going to sleep, I would work my coaching too, guys. And that's all part of my story. That's all part of my struggle. And when I was struggling, that's when I got the most support. Those were the people that I was reaching. The people that were struggling as a nanny, trying to watch their kids at the same time, trying to build a business on the side. Those were the kinds of audience that I had. So my audience in the beginning, also when I was at corporate and when I was also working, going to school full time, I was gaining a lot of people who were working and going to school. So that is how your audience, that's how your story is going to be so powerful for you, because you're showing people how you are doing it too, and they can too. Now, I'm not saying everybody is going to be your exact customer, it's going to be exactly like you, but a good majority of them will be. I mean, I've had moms, I've had dads. And the thing is, it was awesome to have kind of a mix of a female and male ratio kind of thing, because I do have my husband, who is also a I guess you can say a part-time coach. At this point, he's a discount coach. So his story kind of changed also. But lucky him, he does have me to help to help with his business also. So the awesome thing about your story, okay, is you are able to help the people that are just like you. Okay, but you have to put the energy in. You have to put the energy in. You have to not only put the energy in, but you got to put in the time too. So the higher your expectations are of coaching, like say, for example, you want to become a full-time coach, you have to obviously put in a lot more time than someone who's only going to be a coach part-time, or just doing coaching for a hobby. I will tell you right now, an hour is not going to cut it. An hour to 2 hours of coaching is not going to cut it if you're trying to be a full-time coach, guys. If you want this to be your ultimate grandest career, you're going to have to put a lot more time than 2 hours a day. I will tell you that. But it starts there. It starts there. Okay? Because a lot of us are kind of like thinking, if I just put an hour, including my workout, into coaching, it's going to build, into full-time coaching in like 2 or 3 months, guys. You have to put a little more time and effort into talking to your people and connecting with them and building relationships with them. It's not going to happen with just a half hour of inviting. And another thing was, with my story, I know I was able to help people who were suicide survivors. I know I was able to help people who loved yoga the same way I did. So all the passions and the priorities that I had and all the challenges that I went through, whoever was going through those kind of challenges, I was able to help those people. And that's kind of a freaking amazing, if you ask me. Okay, not only are you changing their lifestyle, but you're helping also to change their life. And their life involves this kind of energy and confidence that most of my audience is lacking, or they're missing it and they want it. So I know that I have to show up with that. Okay. And I want to. That's something that I want to have, even though maybe some days I don't feel like it. And I know I have to be on my A game. And yes, I will go ahead and post because they need to hear my message. So before we get off this call, this is how I structure my stories. So there's a headline. Okay. If you don't have some kind of structure already, you can use this too. So I have a headline that's going to catch their attention. And then I will go into and putting emotion into it and making it very visual. I will go to how things were before said problem. Okay. I will tell what the problem is, and I will tell what the solution is. And then at the end, I will state what was the bridge between the problem and the solution, which is usually you, by the way. And that, in the bridge, that's where you provide the value. Okay. And at the end of it, some kind of call to action, or some kind of inspirational message also. So that's kind of the structure that I use. And you can go ahead and check out some of my longer posts about that. And every day is not going to be a long post, guys. Like sometimes I'm just there to inspire. And here's a few things to post about, some posting ideas. The Motivation Mondays, Transformation Tuesdays, Woman Crush Wednesdays, or Way Back Wednesdays, Throwback Thursdays, Flex Fridays, I don't know, what is it? Self-Development Saturdays, Sunday Fun Days. Those are awesome things to post, by the way. Those are just some ideas. But yeah, that is the power of your story. So if like you're a dog mom if you're a mom, if you're pregnant. Honestly, guys, dogs and kids, man, you guys got gold. People gravitate to you because those are probably like some of the most hardest things to take care of is like it's kids. And I don't know, everybody loves dogs and cats and pets. So you guys have gold. I have none of those, but I make do with what I have, you know? So grateful for that. And I'm so grateful for you guys listening on this call. So thank you so much for allowing me to tell my story. And I made it, I didn't cry. So thanks so much. And let me know if you have any other questions about your story.